And for those of you who are joining me that I don't know, my name is Jeremy Blair, and it's great to have you. Let's get started. So you're welcome to practice on a mat if you have one available, but today's practice will have a little different sequence, and since we're not going to the floor as often in the first half of our class, you can just practice on the carpet, floor, whatever's available to you. We're going to begin by preparing the breath just a little bit and creating a mind-body connection. So you can take a comfortable stance for you. That might be feet together, feet wide. You might choose to have a seat on the floor or a pillow just for the first few moments. Bring your hands in front of your pelvis, just below your belly button. And you can have your fingers touching, but some space between your palms. So today's practice blends yoga philosophy with Chinese philosophy. There are similar traditions, as they were explained to me in my yoga training. It's the same idea at the top of the mountain, just at the Himalayas. They came down and they're disseminated differently in India and in China. So they have this relationship to one another, but they're different practices. So here they're coming together. And I want to introduce the idea of the Dantian. The Dantian is essentially your pelvis, but it's this low energy center we have in the body. And the best description I have for it was given by Nana Scheinpflug. It's a bowl of water that you can slosh. And we'll get to sloshing it in a minute, but I just wanted to introduce the idea of the Dantian. And when I'm referring to that, I'm referring to this low energy center we have in the pelvis. You know, it's kind of just below the umbilical cord, our first energy center. You might drop your chin a little, close your eyes. Knees are soft if you're standing, but everyone has a long spine, whether you're sitting or standing. And start to activate your breath, taking full breaths, expanding the breath into your torso. And exhale long and slow. You may begin exhaling through the mouth, but eventually your inhale and exhale will come in and out through the nose. As we begin focusing on the breath, your mental energy is focusing on how you're breathing. You may feel a little distracted or the urge to do or think about something else. Encourage your attention just to be focused on the breath for 3 to 5 more breath cycles. If your eyes were closed, blink them open. You can put your hands on your hips, or you're welcome to reach your hands out wide. And we were talking about the Dantian just a moment ago, and now let's find that energy center and just swing your hips side to side. If you're feeling dancy this morning, you can let your hands go as well. But you're just moving the energy of your pelvis side to side. Anatomically, you're awakening the femurs and the hip joints and the muscles that surround those two. Now let's take the pelvis in a circle, like you're a hula hoop. Drawing a big circle, finding the corners of your space with your hips. Then notice which way your hips are going and reverse. Your feet can stay wide or you can bring them together. Let's do a little circle for the shoulders. We started with the Dantian, that's our low, we have a low Dantian. We also have a secondary energy center up here in our chest, the upper Dantian. And you might open up the elbows and armpits in this arm circle. You might shift weight side to side. There's a lot of improvisational opportunities here in this warm-up. And your head. Drop your chin down to your chest and gently rock your head side to side, waking up the back of your neck. You might start to take that all the way up, gazing toward the sky on each side. You might increase range of motion to a full head circle. Doing a few in one direction and a few in the other direction. Reconnect your breath for an inhale and exhale. Give the arms a little shake, or the hands a little shake. So we're changing the energy in our body, and if you're shaking them side to side, which is probably the natural way, try to shake them forward and back. It feels a little odd. And you can take your arms up above. Again, you're just shaking the hands. You can take them down low. And they might start to tingle as you feel blood flow in that area. And then take that into your shoulders, and this feels a little odd. Sometimes bending over and letting your shoulders shake with the help of gravity, or then take them up and let them shake. It's hard to talk as I do that. But kind of freely releasing any stuck energy in your shoulders. Take that into your hips. And imagine if you had a martini shaker came to mind. If this was a bowl of liquid, you're really shaking it up in the pelvis. The knees are soft to accommodate that shaking motion. Now have a seat on the floor. We were able to do our hands, our shoulders, and our hips, but we weren't able to do our feet. Lay down on your back, take your legs up toward the sky, and give your feet a shake. Still breathing mindfully as you're playfully exploring different energy dynamics in the body. Still shaking your feet. And then shake your whole legs. They shake kind of in a rotating way. Then, after your exhale, place your feet on the floor. And with your feet, lift your hips so you're hovering your hips off the floor. There's just a little space here. And shake your hips again. A different relationship to gravity. The shake feels a little different. And you may feel a little goofy. You came here for yoga, but we're shaking our body. But we're trying to release any stuck energy as part of our warm-up. And then release. Bring your knees into your chest. Now a different energy dynamic. Look towards your navel and think of yourself as a starfish that can expand and contract from the belly outward. Inhale, reach. Exhale, round. Inhale, reach from the belly to the nose and toes. Exhale, round. Inhale, reach. Exhale, round. A few more on your own. Last one. And we're coming back to standing, yogis. You can rock forward and back, or you can roll to your right side. And if you can, no hands. Come back to standing. Bring your hands together in front of your low dantian. Rub your hands vigorously. In the hands there is an energy chakra. It's a center of energy. And we'll be using that, or we'll be developing awareness of the energy center in our hands as we move. And since we're not placing our hands on the floor, as we often do in our yoga practice, we're going to develop an isometric relationship to the space with our hands. Clap your hands together a few times. That might be really loud on the video, I apologize. And then squeeze and tighten your fists. And roll the wrists. You may even notice already you have a little more heat in the body. Keep the breath flowing. We're now ready to go into our first sequence. We'll do each sequence 3 times. This first sequence is called Golden Seal. We just talked about the energy center in our hands, our palm chakra. That's important here as we push and pull energy in the space around us. You may imagine that you're in a jar of peanut butter and the air around you is thick and you have to move with imaginary resistance. So, we begin hands at the low dantian, and you can start with the fingers touching. Maybe imagine a ball of energy between your palms. Reach your arms above head, gathering the energy of the space around you. Then turn your toes and legs out as you press, sitting the hips low, pressing with great strength, and then fold forward. Your toes and legs turn forward again. Turn your right toes out, twist your spine to the left, and close. Other side, turn your left toes out, open your right arm to the side, you're twisting. The hips can move with you. Exhale, back to the floor. Toes forward. Palms up as you gather energy from the earth, pulling it into the body. Then flip your palms and press up. Then dive forward, drinking bird. So you're reaching way forward as the arms reach back. Flex your knees. Drop your hips low as you sweep the arms up. Rocking horse, and drinking bird again. Dive forward. Bring the palms of your hands to the floor, touch the earth, and the backs of the hands pull energy up as the spine rounds. The energy rises all the way up to the top, through the midline, central channel, and exhale, you press it back down, regathering in the dantian, your energy reservoir. Take a breath in and a breath out. Round 2. The palms gather energy from the space around as you reach up. Turn your toes out and press. Fold forward, toes forward. Turn your right toes out. Open your left arm, twisting the spine. Exhale, release. Other side. Left toes out, open up to the right. Exhale, close. Palms up, pulling the energy from the earth up into the body. Flip the palms and press. From the belly outward, from the feet down, then dive. Your knees can bend here if your legs are tight. Then drop your hips, flex the knees as you lift your spine, extending, and exhale, fold. Palms to the floor. The backs of the hands pull up, and you feel energy from the earth rising like a mountain. And then press back down, palms pressing energy into the center of the body, and you feel this sense of gathering, like we did in Starfish. Last round. I'll show to the side. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, turn the feet out and press. Dive forward. Toes forward. Turn your right toes out. Pivot the spine to the left. Close. Second side. Left toes out, pivot right. Close. Toes forward, palms up as you gather. Rounding the spine to gather energy into the body and then pressing up with great strength. Dive forward. Sit low. Big breaths as you move. Dive forward again. Palms to the floor. Pull energy like taffy from the earth up and press it down. Contain the energy within the body. Palms back to the low dantian. Fingers can touch or a small space between your fingers. Imagine a filament of energy connecting each fingertip. Use your imagination. What color is the energy between your palms today? That first color that comes to mind. Reflects your energetic state today. Moving into our next sequence. Warrior, advance and retreat. So in this one we have push-pull energy between our palms that connects to our pelvis. Squaring my mat a little bit, it went askew. Here we are. Stand on your left foot, your right leg lifts. And as you do that, you can expand your arms like a bird. Step your right foot back. The lifted leg steps back. Your hands gather energy into the center of the body. You pivot on your toes to face the back of your mat. The left hand presses. That's one. Do it again. Pivot back to the front and press your right hand. Two. Pivot, gather, and press. Three. Low retreat. Sweep your arms across. The body is low. Do a circle, right to left, high retreat. Then step your feet together. You're facing the opposite direction. And the hands are at the low dantian. Or you can bring them here to the belly button, a comfortable space. Second side. Stand on your right leg, lift your left, expanding the arms, and then gather. Step the foot back as you pivot and press right hand. Gather, pivot, press left hand. Gather, pivot, and press. That's our third one. Low retreat. Circle left to right, high retreat. Step your feet together. What was the front of your mat when you began, and the hands come to the dantian. That's one sequence. There's a lot of mobility on your toes and through the pelvis here. Round two. Hands to the low dantian. Feel that connected energy here in the torso. Right leg lifts. Gather and press. Gather and press. Gather and press. Low retreat. High retreat. Step to the back of the mat. Energy center. Left leg. Step back with the left leg, gather and press. Gather and press. Third time, gather and press. Low retreat. High retreat. Step to the front of the mat. And pause. These can stay small or they can gradually become bigger. Third round. Right leg. Gather and press. Gather and press. Moving the energy between your palms, gather and press. Low retreat. High retreat. Feet come together. And reclaim energy. Left side. Gather and press. Gather and press. Gather and press. Low retreat. High retreat. You can move a little slower or a little faster. Step feet together. Hands back to the dantian. Notice your breath rhythm. Notice your heartbeat. Notice any flow of energy you feel in the body. You might feel actual blood flow or energy channels, maybe tingling. Notice the heat in your body. One more vigorous sequence. Now, in a normal yang class, this does include plank and downward dog, but we're modifying it today. This is our dragon sequence. Has a little story. It begins the same way as our warrior sequence did. You lift the right leg. You can, if you choose, hinge way forward, taking this warrior three-leg position before landing your foot, or you can just step it back comfortably. Your arms sweep up, holding fist straight above head, and then you bow forward, dipping your forehead low to the floor. Now the arms can stay down, or they can come up as you pivot to the opposite side, squaring your hips and torso, and bow down again. Do it one more time. Lift up, arms can be up or down. It's a challenge to leave them up, and then bow down. Stand up on the left leg, right leg swings up, hand comes to the knee. Sweep your right hand back for a twist. Twisting dragon. And then release. Step the foot back, sweep your hands around. From here, the hands are above head, and you squeeze the shoulders together and stick your tongue out as you exhale. Then you step the feet together, and we're done with the first side. Let's go through the second side. Left leg lifts. A dragon expands its wings, and exhale, land in a lunge. Reaching the spine low. Sweep your body up and around, arms up or down, and lunge low. One more time, up and around, and lunge. The back foot comes forward, stand up tall and strong. Opposite hand to knee, exhale, twist. Stay here for a breath. Back to your lunge. Sweep all the way around, square the hips, and exhale. Tongue out, squeeze your shoulders. Step back up. The knee can lift or not, and exhale, hands back down to the dantian. Round two. Inhale, right leg. Exhale, low lunge. Pivot around, fly. Low lunge. Pivot around, third time. Low lunge. Stand up on that front foot. Opposite hand to the knee. Rotate the right hand back, breathe in. Spine is rotating. Breathe out. Step the foot back, pivot around. Square the hips and exhale, squeeze shoulders. Step together. Knee lifted or not. And hands back down. Second half. Left leg lifts. Exhale, low lunge. Pivot around. Low lunge. Pivot around. Low lunge. You're moving from this low energy center. Stand up on the right leg. Opposite hand to knee. Rotate your body back. And exhale back to your lunge. Pivot around again. And exhale, squeeze your back. Open up your front. Then step together. Hands back to the dantian. One more round. Find a little flowing momentum. Like you're pushing and pulling. Imagine that isometric resistance like peanut butter. Right leg. Exhale, low lunge. Fly around the world. Land in a low lunge. Fly around the world again. And low lunge. Stand on your left foot. Sweep the body up. And twist. Breathe in. Return to your lunge. All the way back around, dragon's breath. Tongue out. Stand up. And hands to the dantian. Left side. Low lunge. Fly around the world. Low lunge. One more flight around the world. Low lunge. Stand strong, back knee up. Hand to knee, rotate. Breathe into your rotation. And breathe out, lunge. Fly all the way around the world for one more dragon's breath. Feet together. And hands to the dantian. Close your eyes, drop your chin. And allow your energy to soften here. You can bend the knees a little bit and just feel this sort of collecting reservoir of energy. With your eyes closed, you might picture the energy between your fingertips as if they were touching but not. Notice the energy of your palms. Notice the energy of your dantian. If you have a bolster, a block, or a pillow, one or two, bring that near to the top of your mat. We'll need it in just a moment. Take a moment, back to where we began, either feet together or feet wide, a little bend to the knees, so we have softness in the joints of our body, but a readiness in the joints. We've triggered and activated most of the joints and muscles of the body. So with eyes closed, tap into that sense of flowing energy in the body. You may notice places where it still feels stagnant. That's okay. That's work for next time, or work for the rest of class. Then check in with your headspace and notice any scattered energy that might be distracted thought. I have a rhythmically complex piece of music that might be activating you cerebrally. Just acknowledge that. Then notice the quality of your breath. Is it irregular? Does it have a more legato, taffy-like quality? We'll keep the breath at the forefront of our mind. These postures will be longer held postures, and the mind will want to wander. So use the breath as a point of focus for your mind. If you want a sun salutation, you can do a sun salutation to get us to the floor, but I'm not guiding a hands practice. So come to a seat however you're able to. And if you do normally do a practice with lots of chaturangas and downward dogs, just notice any change in energy in your upper body. We definitely use the body differently. And I'm noticing in my own body a lot of pelvic-centered energy. That Dantian feels vibrant for me. And sometimes that vibrancy is in my shoulders from doing lots of plank. Our first restorative pose is a simple forward fold. Excuse me. Your legs can be open to an easy degree. And this is where more props might be handy. I've been doing a lot of stationary biking during quarantine. And so a little support is needed for my knees. So I'm putting a block. You might choose another pillow for each knee. Go raid your bed. And then we're just laying the spine forward. And here's where the other pillow or another prop can come in handy. Either a place to rest your chest or your head. You might be rested on your forearms, that's okay. But drop your chin and let your forehead bow down toward the floor. So the whole spine, if I show this to the side, I try to imagine the spine like a palm tree swaying in the wind. So from the base all the way up to the top you have a curve. And if you notice there's more curve at the top than the bottom, try to shift your weight a little bit. Breathing into the space where it feels tight. What's most important in this part of practice, after we've had this fiery, active yang practice, the yin part is restorative, where we remove the effort and let natural effort, gravity, do the work for you. And you use the natural rhythm of the breath to also create mobility in space. Rather than forceful effort in the muscle, there's mindful effort in your breath. We'll remain here for another 5 to 7 breaths. Notice if there are places in your body that are holding tension. Any place in the body that's holding tension, breathe into that area on your next exhale without doing anything effortfully. Exhale and gently allow. Allow for the body to soften. Allow for a settling movement just in response to the downward press of gravity. Another breath in, and a breath out. Inhale the body up. Leave the left leg about where it is. Move your pillow over to the left side. Take your right leg and turn it over. So you have the back of the leg down, now you have the top of the leg down, and you're in this stag position, figure 4 sometimes called, but both legs are sweeping to the right. Now here, just do a little movement, rotating toward the left, toward the right, and allow the pelvis to move. We're going to end up in a twist toward our left, toward what I'm calling my front leg, the left leg. Both knees are bent and soft, and you're rotating your body toward your pillow. Maybe you need another pillow, as I discovered I did, as a place to rest your chest. Now, the bottom hip is deeply compressed. You're folding your pelvis over that bottom femur. And your shoulders are squaring toward the floor. They might not be perfectly square to the floor, but that ing, squaring. And it's not necessarily you working to move that right shoulder down. You just find the position and then breathe, allowing gravity to gradually mold the body. You'll notice if you stay there and breathe, the body starts to settle. It's most likely more accessible to look to the right toward the knees, but a more intense twist would be looking to the left. And you might be here looking to the right for 5 to 7 breaths and discovered you settled enough to look left. One of the elements of a yin practice is to find the position, find the shape of the body, and then the next part is I find difficult, is to steadfastly commit to that shape. We as humans want to wiggle and want to move. You might notice physical discomfort, and the urge to move is strong. Notice that urge to move and resist it. If it's not sharp pain, if it's just a dull ache, you're fine. It's the muscles lengthening. And they're doing so with reluctance. So you breathe, convincing them that it's okay. The breath actually has this neuromuscular ability to turn off the Golgi tendon apparatus in the muscle that tightens the muscle, protecting it, which is an important feature. But it also is overly important at times. So the breath communicates to the muscles it's okay for them to lengthen and release. Enjoy another breath in and out. On your inhale, bring your body up. Before we do second side, this is just a personal preference. I love to have this release come onto your elbows. We're not on our hands, it's just the elbows. And rock your legs side to side, releasing any tension in your low back. This doesn't necessarily have a name, but someone called it mermaid on a beach one time, and I liked that, especially on a rainy day in Michigan. And gently bring yourself back up. Move your props to the other side. Your right leg is bent. Turn your left leg over. So both feet are sweeping toward the left. And we'll set up sleeping pigeon, similar to a pigeon pose, on the second side. As you lay down over your bolster or bolsters, there's deep compression on the bottom hip, as in you're bringing the femur close to the top of your pelvis. And then you're gradually letting that left shoulder sink down toward the floor. Noticing any dull sensation in the body, and allowing breath to move into that area. And do something similar for your mind. Notice if you have any mental attachments. Those are thoughts that come up often. You might remember someone or something that's going on. That happens, it absolutely does. But use your breath as a way to clear the mind. As you exhale, that thought goes away. And you're left with a calm, quiet mind, calm, quiet body. And the third part of yourself, your spirit, is also calming. For the next 3 to 5 breaths, if it's available, you can look to the right. But that does intensify greatly. I also encourage you to remain. Another breath in, and breath out. Bring your body up. One more round of mermaid on the beach. On your elbows, just letting your knees rotate side to side. Pivot around to your belly, bringing your prop with you. On your belly, we'll take Sphinx or Cobra or Crocodile. There's a couple variations you might choose. You can lay on your prop, letting it support your low ribs, and be on your forearms for a little spinal extension. Another variation might be crocodile pose. That's crossing opposite arms. I'll show this from a different vantage point. Your legs are straight. I have to bend them for space. But you cross your arms and rest your throat on your biceps, so your chin is over your arms. Now this is a very different pose than Sphinx. Experiment with which variation might serve you. If you had your arms crossed in crocodile, gently trade. If you're in Sphinx, you might look side to side. This is a gentle enough twist. You can look to either direction. You can draw your belly button up, experimenting with different places of flexion. But generally you're letting the low belly relax. One more inhale. And exhale. Bring your prop to the right side of the body. Bring your right knee up to the prop, whatever it is, a pillow or a block. Now here, the arm, you can take your variation. The arm can be overhead, or you might take your arm the left arm, the bottom arm, in the same direction as the prop. Gently rotate your spine toward the floor. So you're rotating your ribs back. The bottom arm, the left arm, could hold on to the knee. The right hand could draw the rib cage down, or you could just let the arm rest on the floor. So you found a light twist to the body, supported on a block. Don't pull too much. Remember, we're minimizing effort here in the yin part of our practice. You're in the shape, allowing gravity to twist the body for you. You just breathe. If you find that shoulder is floating and needs a little support, you can take another pillow or block, tuck it behind the shoulder, and that can be a place to rest when you rotate. Breathe mindfully. Take another breath in. And we'll gently come out of this. Let's roll to our backs to set up your second side. Drag the prop over. Roll over onto your right side. The top knee, the left knee, is resting on your prop, pillow, block, whatever it is. The right arm can be long for now. Then rotate your rib cage back. Here's where the block or the second prop might be handy as a place to rest your shoulder. Once you find the shape for your body, find a place where you can be physically still. You might notice a bit of discomfort. Dull ache is okay. Sharp pain we want to move away from gently. Enjoy another breath in, noticing where your mind has wandered. The tendency of the mind is to think. You're retraining the mind to be still. Gently unwind the body, coming to your back. Pause for a moment, feet on the floor, knees up toward the sky, and breathe. One more variation before Shavasana. Walk your feet together, so the soles of your feet are together and your knees fall out to the side. You're welcome to bring your hands to the front of your pelvis and rest them on the dantian. If there's a lot of pulling energy on the inner thighs, you might put a pillow under each knee. Your arms can either be on the dantian or extended out to a T. Find your breath again. primary effort in the body is focusing the mind on the breath. All of your energy is refocusing the mind on the breath. If there's other energetic spaces in the body holding tension or engagement, let them release. Finishing with one more breath. Use your hands, as little effort as you can in the legs, to draw your knees back together. Bring your knees toward your chest, and you can just squeeze your arms toward your shins. There's a little bit of effort here. You could even lift your head, neck, and shoulders, rounding in like that starfish energy gathering like we did at the beginning of class. And prepare to extend the body into Shavasana. This is your final resting meditation. Your legs lengthen, toes can rotate out to the side, palms can be open toward the sky. And on this Saturday morning, I'll lead you through a